Latinos Out Loud podcast. Latinos. Yeah, that's what this is. Latinos Out Loud.
Hey, knock, knock. Who's there? Yo, 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 yo.
Oh.
Yo. Come on, yo. Where you at, yo? It's me,
You know?
yo.
Come here, yo. Come here, yo. Come here, boy.
We
Here,
here,
yo.
yo. I would love to name a pet, yo. Yo, yo.
Dime.
That's perfect. Yo. Oh, wow. Thanks, Jamie, because this one's on its way out. Next dog is going to be named Yo.
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
Frank,
Shout
what
out
would
to
you name a
Apollo.
pet? Frank, what would you name your a pet? If you had a pet tomorrow, what would you name it?
Remember I was gonna get a dog and you gave it a name? What was it?
Who, me or Rachel?
You, man. I was gonna get a dog one time and you gave it a name on the show. I just didn't remember.
Was it Panic? Because then you can always be like, Panic, attack.
Oh, my God. Definitely off of one of your Frank conspiracies. Panic.
Yeah, right.
Go let them know.
Yeah, just
Yo.
call it like Dogspiracy or something.
Oh, that's a good one, Dogspiracy.
Catspiracy. Catspiracy actually is better. Maybe you can get a cat.
That's
Oh,
perfect.
shit.
Catspiracy. Yo.
Cat. Check it out. Catspiracy. Spur, like a purr. Catspiracy.
Ooh,
Oh, shit.
Catspiracy.
I like that.
Wow, this is great. I
Yeah.
love that. In case you're wondering where you are, this is not the Twilight Zone. This is the Latinos Out Loud podcast where we talk
Right?
about everything and anything. Yeah, hi. Hey guys.
Hey.
How are you? It's another
Good.
episode. What are you gonna do about
Yeah.
that? It's another
Hey.
episode. It's here,
Mhm.
just like that. Knock, knock.
Mm.
Hello, episode.
It's
How are
here,
you?
y'all.
Otra
It's
vez.
here, y'all.
Yeah, I don't even know what number we're on, but it's like 300 and something.
Something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
300 and something. Well, hi everyone. It's your friend Rachel La Loca. You know,
Okay.
I don't think we need to introduce ourselves anymore, do we? I mean, over the 300 mark, like
You got new
really?
people sometimes. They forget, so I don't know.
Right.
Once in a while it's
right.
all right.
Point. I see your point. I see your point.
Once
It's
in a
always
while.
good to reintroduce myself.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Loca. L to this OCA. I used to move snowflakes in front of the DA. I don't know. I'm not a
Oh,
rapper.
for real?
I'm not a
Damn.
rapper. Actually, I did
Damn,
because yeah,
front
I
of
used
the
to have a lot of
DA?
friends. I have a lot of ADA friends. Guys, look, I think I want to talk about something really important on this week's episode. It's
Okay.
super important, and rarely, do we follow up, right? This is a follow-up to our New Year's resolutions.
Oh, man.
I thought that we should check in not only with each other. LOLeros, use this opportunity to check in with yourself.
Wow.
Mhm.
Check in with yourself. How are we, all of us, how are we doing with our New Year's resolutions now that it's mid-January?
Oh no.
Check in.
Wow. Check-in
Rachel La
time?
Loca on the check-in. Yo, what's good? Frank, how you doing? How you doing? New Year's resolutions, how we doing?
We hanging in there, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to do the best that we can, trying to stay healthy. I think everybody's trying to do that, stay healthy, mental health, trying to keep our minds together, trying to keep our souls and, the light inside of us consistently glowing out there, the exercise, the good food, the good vibes, the good people around you. I think, having good people around you is very important,
So that's
and
in
all of that, man.
2023. That's where you kind of resoluted to have good vibes
Yeah.
in 2023.
Yeah, man, try the stress, man. You don't want the stress, and I believe in having good people around you. As I keep on going on in life, man, you have to have positive people in you, people that bring good energy in you, good frequency in you, and vice versa. You have to do that for the other person. But I believe in good vibe and good energy consistently.
Right.
Rachel, I know you got a lot of resolutions, girl.
Yeah, I seem to really make a list of resolutions. But I'll share some of them and how I'm doing. So one of them was to live more in the moment in 2023, to be more present, not so reliant upon my cell phone and capturing videos and pictures to post about my experience, but to actually collect the experience in my mind.
Nice.
Well, true talk and truth be told, we go to some really incredible events, and like the one that I was at with Tom Hanks. And I'm like, I could take out my phone and start taking pictures, or I could listen to this wise man's words and learn from them. Because I don't know about anybody else, it's hard to absorb and learn while you're shooting video for Instagram
Right.
or taking pictures or doing anything that's of a distraction, really. Um, so I'm really trying to live more in the moment and be more present.
Mm.
Also keep up with my health. I've sort of shifted the goal to toning more because a lot of the weight came off. I'm down now, I think, well, at this current juncture after the holidays, 85 pounds from where I started out.
Diablo.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, hey,
I say that
people.
number and I often get that reaction to, I guess, yeah.
Rachel did look, but Rachel's look did change like every year and a half. Because there's like pictures from like an 8-year span, and she has like 25 different looks, you know?
Uh, that's accurate. That's
So
accurate.
it's like it could just, and it could be hair, it could be,
The way
clothes,
the
makeup,
cheeks. Yeah.
It's
or
not
just,
like it's not like the culture appropriation that we were talking about before, but I do go through phases and I really have been my whole life. Like now, it's really about like embracing who I am. Like you guys know the gray streak is just out
Yes.
there. It's been growing for years. Um, but I would like to tone more. I would like to just this health and weight loss journey, it really never ends. um Even when you hit your goal of, let's say, like the weight that you want to get to, which I'm close, I'm still not even there yet. I still got let's see, 6 more pounds to go. And even when I'm there, I feel like it's not going to end because there's always improvements. Now I
Right.
could focus on
Mhm.
arms, and now I could focus on my butt. Now I could focus on my thighs. But it does feel really good. And I want to actually read something, if I may take this opportunity. But I forgot to shout this out on the podcast a few weeks ago. And I would like to shout out an Eloelero who reached out to me and sent me probably one of the most endearing messages I have ever received on
Ooh.
Instagram.
Yeah, we gotta ask.
Ooh.
She's going to remain anonymous, but
Oh, dang.
yeah. She wrote, "Hey girl, hope all is going well. I know you don't know me, but a long time ago, while it seems like forever, but when you started your weight loss journey and I told you I was getting back on my journey, I never did. I've been following you for a while, and after I keep seeing you and how good you look, I thought to myself, this year, I got this." And that was last year. So last year, January 10th was the first day being a better and healthier me. Almost a year later, I'm down 65 pounds. The reason why I'm messaging you is because you inspired me when I couldn't see that losing 65 pounds was doable. I know it's random, but I just wanted to thank someone that was part of my journey. You. Thank you so much.
That's
Um,
sweet.
so
Ooh.
sweet.
That's
So
real
sweet.
Nice.
too.
I love hearing this. I love this so much for so many reasons. Like, one, I'm here talking my spiel, sharing my shtick, talking about the real things that affect us. There's celebratory moments on Latinos Out Loud, but there's also those moments of 1000% realness.
Ooh.
If we're going through something, we tell you.
Yeah.
Facts.
Whether it's like mental health related, or in my case, I talked a lot about infertility and my reproductive system. So I just want to say thank you to that woman who reached out to me and told me that I inspired her to lose all that weight. Like I tell other people who tell me, like, oh, you inspire me. So I'm like, thank you for doing what you're doing. I'm like, no, you're doing it. You
Hmm.
did it. You did it. But I'm very thankful for those that are bold enough to communicate. Because, sometimes we keep this shit to ourselves, but there's no reason to.
Right.
Let let your people know. Let your friends know that they've changed your life or impacted you in a positive way. But yeah, I think the overall lifestyle shift that I made a few years ago is still carrying on. I was talking about this the other day with someone. Like, sometimes it's not even about stopping what you like, like the maduros and
Hey,
the,
word, the
you
maduro.
know,
You can't give up
dulce
those
de
maduros,
leche.
huh? You can't, no matter what.
I
Yeah.
think it's okay, but I think that there's balance. Like, you know what I'm
Moderation.
saying? Go burn that shit off. Go to the gyms. You know, step in a steam room. Step into a slim gym. Step into something. I don't know.
Hmm.
Go do something to like balance. Well, don't step into a slim gym. That's not healthy. But you know, step into an arena that you can like balance out what you ate. You know, the other day. Can't be
Yeah,
making
that
this.
with me it's with the snacks, right? You know, I'm like that
Oh,
cartoon character.
ferns.
I'm like the cartoon wolf that sees like an apple pie on the windowsill and a car, you know, and he's just like
Start
his like he's just
salivating.
yeah, and it's like I need that. So when I'm walking like the streets, if I'm walking past any sort of like dessert store or like some place that sells anything snacky, I immediately look at the window and I'm like, I want that now, and I go in and then I do that. So
Ferns.
this year I'm trying to like not do that as much.
Jamie, what is your favorite candy bar of all time?
Ooh.
Of all time.
Of all time. Only
Candy
one.
bar?
Yes, candy bar. You look like you eating like 10,000 pieces of candy bar over the years.
I think as an adult, the chocolate bar I eat the most is Hershey's with almonds. I'm like,
Oh, that's good. I
I
like
got
that.
boring in my older age. It's just like, let me get some Hershey's with almonds
Keep
and
it simple.
I'll be good. Second runner up is Kit Kat because I could always eat a Kit
That's
Kat.
good. That's good.
Kit Kat,
Kit
give
Kat,
me a
yeah.
break.
I
Give
like when
me
they
a
Give me a
melt.
break.
break.
I like when
Take
it
me
melts.
off
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah. Look good,
break me
good.
off a piece of that. That was a really like it was like a R. The lyrics of that were like from like a '90s R&B song.
Yo!
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Like
And
a
it was
Kit
very
Kat
Joanne.
like,
bar.
and very Nell Carter. Give me a break, I sure deserve it. Give me just a feeling of time.
Give
Remember
me a
Give Me a
break.
Break with Joey Lawrence?
One of my
Yeah.
favorite theme songs. Not give me a break.
Yeah.
Not one of my favorite sitcoms, but one of my favorite theme songs for a
Nell
sitcom. It's like,
Carter, yo.
give me a break, come on. And she's like, she pretty much tells the story of the show. She's like, I'm trying to live my life again. And
Remember
it's
when theme songs dictated the show's like content? They don't really
Yeah,
do that anymore, right? Like
that's it.
it was
yeah,
all
like
80s and
Gilligan's
90s.
Island basically told you what the show is about, you know?
That's right.
All
This
the
isn't all
way.
about castaways that were here for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Or like the sitcoms, it was all like, you know, show me that smile. Oh, show me that smile. You know, like Growing Pains, you kind of knew is about the family life and, you know,
Growing family
Pains.
ties. Like, what will we do, baby,
baby,
without
without
us?
us.
Fa la la la.
Oh, that was the best part. The fa la 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 really
Fa la
got
la
me.
la.
Yeah, yeah.
Rachel, do you want to introduce our guests?
Yeah, this was a really fun episode. And I love when things like organically tell a story. Like
Mm.
we had the actors of the show from Acapulco, several of them, right? There was the junket, and then we had the individual interviews with Fernando and Gabriel. And now, huh, what a pretty loop this is, pretty little bow.
Little
And
bow.
Eduardo Cisneros and Jason Shuman are the writing and producing duo behind shows like Acapulco and films like Half Brothers, War of Likes. Just there's so many. They're working with Columbia Pictures and Sony now for they're
Yeah.
writing features for them. There's just so much here, and they've brought us so much content already, but it was really exciting to talk to Eduardo and Jason, right, you guys?
Yeah, this was we all were able to be in this interview and it was really fun to kind of
Yeah.
talk about kind of like how they got to where they got, you know, and they're doing a lot of big things. So it's
Yes.
a really
So-
interesting interview.
It's a
It's
good one.
always exciting to talk to these content creators, producers, directors, Hollywood people that are telling our stories authentically.
Mm.
Did you hear that word?
Yes,
Authenticity.
authentically.
Authentically.
Authentico.
Oh,
Authentico.
no testicles, no, but authentically.
It's really exciting when we have these pioneers on the front lines for us, you know, pen in hand, laptop in hand,
Ooh.
camera in hand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And our stories are getting the visibility that they deserve with
Por
color.
fin, por fin.
Yeah. So shout out to Jason, who is an ally of ours. Shuman, Jewish last name, but an
You guys
ally.
hit it off on this one. Ooh.
Hey, look, you know the community. You know how we roll. You know how we roll. Mazel tov, bitches.
Yo.
Yo. So let's get into this interview with Eduardo Cisneros and Jason Shuman.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, this is the part of the show here at Latinos Out Loud where we interview someone amazing. And this time we have two someones. So we got some bodies. Amazing. You guys, you know them from hits like Half Brothers and Acapulco, which we talk about a lot on this show because we love it so much. You guys, please put your hands together for writing and producing duo Eduardo Cisneros and Jason Shuman, people.
Yeah.
Stop your cars,
Let's go.
beep your horns, flash your lights, wherever you are listening to us right now. This is exciting. There's a lot of creativity in this Zoom room right now. It's like whirling and zooming and swirling. Eduardo, Jason, thank you so much for coming on to LOL. It's so nice to have you.
Thanks to you. I'm already pumped. I don't know what we're doing, but
Oh, they didn't tell you?
amazing energy.
This is a game show,
This
like
is-
double.
yeah.
Go ahead, Jamie. Tell
This
them
is
what
a
it is.
pyramid. This is a pyramid scheme, and we kind of actually want you to get on the
Maybe.
ground floor of our crypto
So
group.
jazzed.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
No, Jamie, they don't call it like pyramid scheme anymore. It's
Oh, okay. That's
like a
outdated.
3D triangle conversation.
Mm,
You know what I
okay.
mean?
Multi-level marketing. Yes.
So,
Well, Eduardo and Jason, okay, so it was funny because Jason was just wiping his wipe erase board. And like I feel like every like creative and like producer, writer, like owns a wipe erase board. Is that part of your process, Jason? Do you write? I mean, you must write a lot, but do you use the wipe erase board a lot in your process?
Well, part of the process is just vomiting out ideas and a lot of bad ones to get to the good ones. And so you got to put them all up there on an erase board. And then you look at them at the end of the day and you go, oh God, 9 of these are bad, but thank God for this one. Let's go on that.
Well, I kind of, I don't know if I did you a service or a disservice with that big introduction, because it says here writing, producing duo. Can we explain that more? Can we elaborate more on that for the LOLeros listening out there?
Well, that means that we are two people, makes us a duo, and we write and produce. We're producers. But what I can tell you is that we have been working together for almost a decade now. It's like 9 years that we had this creative partnership since 2014. Before that, each one of us had their own career on their own. Like I started my career in Mexico. I was born and raised in Mexico, and I started working with Eugenio Derbez, creating his characters and writing shows and La Familia Peluche and all that good stuff. And Jason had his own career as a successful film producer, responsible for movies like Role Models and Lone Survivor and like The Messengers, like all sorts of like big, small studio horror. And at that point, I was in the process of crossing over from Spanish language film and TV to English language Hollywood stuff, and Jason wanted to officially pursue his passion as a screenwriter, so we kind of joined forces at the time, and we've been working together to I guess to answer your question, we write our own scripts, but also sometimes produce movies that we don't write. Like we just basically use Jason's producerial skills to get movies off the ground when we believe in the script or we believe in the story. We also just make sure that script and that story becomes a reality.
One of the stories that you guys worked on that we're also close to is Half Brothers.
Ah.
Believe it or not, Believe it or not, this was a fun one, you guys. Remember?
Yeah,
Let's tell
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
tell them. Let's tell them all about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Who
Please.
who are the guests here? Us or them? I'm not sure. But you guys, this is actually a fun story because when we were just a wee little podcast years ago, when Half Brothers came out, we were approached by I forget that Group M with an RFP to come up with a marketing proposal on how Latinos Out Loud could help promote the film. We love the premise so much of the film because there's like the treasure search and like it's about family, and
Yeah.
Latinos are so much about family. Like it's a passion point of ours. So Jamie, your idea was so great. But Jamie tapped into our ability to use different voices where we interviewed our own family members through it was an audio telenovela. I want to
Oh,
say it was like
wow.
4 or 5 parts that tied in nicely to the Half Brothers message. And then, of course, at the end, after we interviewed our own family members, we would say, catch the movie in theaters. But that was a
Yeah, this
probably
had drafts. We had like multiple. This is like, oh, can you guys just do something like real quick for the Half Brothers thing? And we're like writing multiple. Okay, look, I'm talking to my grandfather, and then Rachel, you're gonna talk to your aunt, and then Frank, you're gonna talk to your grandmother, and then it was just like this whole kind of. It could have been it could have been a whole like if Half Brothers was a graphic novel, it could have been like a prequel to the graphic novel. You could have had a whole universe, a whole
Oh,
multiverse.
Wow.
We're gonna have a Half Brother cinematic universe someday. So.
Yes, that's it.
Hey.
So
Let's
It
go.
sounds like that DVD that came out like in between the Matrix movies, where like you had like little
All
short,
right.
like so it's like the Matrix but with Half Brothers.
Yeah. It was like anime, and then like
How can we
Um,
listen to that? I don't remember. Like
Oh,
that
we
sounds
have them.
awesome.
Yeah, we have
can
the
send them to
episode.
you after this.
Yeah,
That was,
that's
I think, the
awesome.
only out of like the years of advertising partners that we've worked with, I think that was
Mhm.
the one that we were the most in the trenches with. Like Jamie said,
Mhm.
going back and forth on drafts and like, using our crazy comedic voices in our heads to replicate our family members. And we went through like a lot. It was a lot of fun though, because we love bringing brands to life here on Latinos Out Loud. And Half Brothers, I feel like really was brought to life, like the film and the fun. Okay, so we here at LOL, we talk a lot about process. I think when we get granular with our process, it inspires others who are out there maybe doing something similar, other writers, other producers, and maybe not of films per se, but I'd love to get granular if we can, like sugar. If we could get sweet and molecular a little bit, like what is y'all process? Like, does Eduardo pick up the phone and call Jason like, Jason, this is
Yeah.
it. This is
Yeah.
it. Meet me at I don't know, Buffalo Wild Wings in 10 minutes. We got a script. I don't know. What is that process when you
It would
find
never be a Buffalo Wild.
Oh,
No.
wow.
I'm a vegetarian. They don't have veggies.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
That's
Who
how,
isn't
that's
that
how it
into
is.
sports? So
Yeah, there's a lot of
tough.
there's a lot of elements in that place that
But we
Eduardo
do-
would be like, nope.
Rachel, we do have our, pics of our coffee shops around Los Angeles. I mean, now we're fancy. We have offices on the Sony lot, so we've stepped it up. But for
Aight.
years, we had our locations around town that everyone knew us there. It was like, oh, look who's here today. And we would take our seats and work for like 8 to 10 hours.
On a
Speaking of
masterpiece.
Half Brothers, there was this particular coffee shop that we love. I'm not going to say the name, but because of what I'm about to say, but like we wrote a big chunk of the script at this coffee shop. And then when the movie came out, we framed a poster of the movie and we were just excited to share it. We brought it to them and I think they just threw it in the garbage or something. We're not really,
Oh, wow.
but I think it's just like
Wow.
they see people with their laptops writing screenplays like, oh, here's another person, or like they probably have like John August or somebody like just sitting there writing more impressive stuff. So,
But that's also LA. If you were doing that, like, I don't
Yeah.
know,
yeah,
sure.
like
Jason
Portland or something like that. It's, oh, yeah, let's put this up. LA.
Well, we love to travel, Eduardo and I. And so we often will travel together, or I'll meet him somewhere where he's already traveling, or vice versa. And that's a little bit more fun because then we go to a coffee shop in a foreign country or a different state. And then we feel a little more special writing scripts in some coffee shop.
When was the exact moment where you guys knew that you kind of wanted to like work together like on a consistent basis? Was Half Brothers your first collaboration together, or was it
No,
it,
we
Instructions not included? Which one?
No,
Uh,
I didn't. Unfortunately, I wish I didn't work
Okay.
on that.
when instructions came out, I was offered a deal at Fox International that doesn't exist anymore, and a 2-picture deal, and as part of that deal, so it was a very formal businessy thing where like the person who used to run that studio, who now runs Columbia Pictures and now is our boss at Columbia Pictures, that he said, you have to meet Jason Shuman, and you guys maybe can come up with something together. And then I think Jason tells the story better. I'm watching the whole thing. I haven't had my vegetarian.
Well, from my point of view, Rachel, it was a real like rom-com meet cute, because I was having lunch with the person Eduardo was just talking about who ran the division, and he was saying, you have to meet this guy, Eduardo Cisneros. He's done all these shows in Mexico, and now he has this hit movie. You got to watch the movie. It's an amazing movie. I'm going to set you guys up in a conference room at Fox. So I did my homework. I told him I'm ready to meet Eduardo, and then we were sort of set up on a meet cute work date at a huge conference room at Fox. And I was sitting there waiting, and then in walks Eduardo, and we just started like chatting for a while. And I had prepared about 10 ideas to pitch him on like one-liners that I thought were fun. And I start pitching them to him with this same excitement I'm pitching you, and he hated all of them.
wow. I like
But
that.
in a very like respectful way. We sort of were getting along so well. We were like, well, let's meet again. So we had lunch in Beverly Hills, fancy. And it was there we actually came up with an idea that we ended up selling and writing together. And we had such a good time writing that Eduardo said, I have this idea for a TV show. You want to do it together? So we did that, which is not Acapulco. That was a show we sold to Fox that never made it on air. But it sort of just happened naturally, where we did one together and we had a lot of fun. And then we did the TV show together. And then it just went from there. We just started to, every time we walked in a room to meet with TV people or movie people, there just seemed to be like an electricity, and everyone wanted to work with us. It
Nice.
seemed like a fun duo.
The
Wow, that
dynamic-
makes me think that there should be a Tinder for writer-director duos.
In
You know
LA,
what I'm
that
saying?
would be a-
eHarmony, but like e-creativity or something. I don't know.
Like
You should go raise money for that.
Shark Tank it. I'm Shark Tanking it.
Somebody in Silicon Valley give you a check, like for sure.
Gentlemen,
You know,
can you tell us more about the Sony deal you guys have and your company, Rockmar Entertainment? I know it signifies convergence. What is it? What are you guys converging to?
Well, kind of going off of what we were saying about just our paths crossing, and we come from different backgrounds, and was born and raised in Mexico. In Jason having spent most of his adult life in LA, like it's such a, in many regards, just different worlds kind of clashing together. And a lot of the stories that we write are about that, about and odd pairings and clashing points of view. And like you see in Half Brothers and Acapulco, like we have Memo and Maximo, like it's always like the spirit of like two people with different points of view converging and creating.
That's really,
new.
when you watch Maximo and Memo, that's us talking.
Ah,
And
nice.
sometimes like
All right.
Renato and his and Asher, like there's a bit of that, and sometimes like the roles change. Sometimes I'm Renato, then sometimes he's Renato, sometimes, but there's a bit of that, and so I think that that's kind of our strength. Like we come from different points of view, and we always trying to make it work. So we brought that to become the spirit and the DNA of the company, which started. And Rockmar is a combination of his mom's name and my mom's name. My mom's Raquel. His mom is Marsha.
Ooh,
Just combined into a name.
interesting.
Rockmar.
Love that
Nice.
so much. Oh
Wow.
my God.
It comes from
My-
such a sweet place, but Rockmar sounds
Yo.
like Rockmar.
Rockmar.
Like you
Like
don't
you're
know
kicking in the
whistling,
door
like,
with that name, but it's like, oh, it's both of our moms' names.
like is this like an arms dealer or like
Yeah.
a-
It's like, old school 80s like WWF wrestler. Rockmar versus Hulk Hogan in
shit.
WrestleMania.
What you gonna do with it, brother? Yeah.
Listen, Rockmar. Listen, brother.
when you see our
Right
next
here.
wrestling movie, you know where that came from.
Yeah.
That come from.
Right
Oh.
here. Well, speaking of fun movies, we also heard that you guys are working on a remake of Short Circuit.
Oh my god!
Yo.
Oh my god!
So like as a 80s film
We are that
lover,
generation.
Oh,
We
no.
are that
Oh,
generation.
I got I got like a Roger Rabbit thing over here. I'm very so Short Circuit. I had the LP, the mini LP of the song "Who's Johnny" from El DeBarge. That's how much
Yeah.
I liked Short Circuit.
Right.
So can you tell us now? You're gonna tell us we're completely changing everything about the original movie.
Not really. I think a lot of it was spirit of just updating the story, and in this case, I told Jason like this was one of my favorite movies growing up, and
Right.
I grew up watching this on a Betamax tape in Mexico. And I just loved it as a kid, and we just started talking about how different technology is these days and how different the world is, and it just felt like it was great to find a way to update it. Part of it was the idea that in my case I've seen since I was a kid, where I'm watching all these high concept movies, this Amblin movies, and it always all these crazy things and aliens and robots and everything just happened in like white kid neighborhoods, and we started talking about like what does that look like when it's just like a brown person, a brown kid, and something really
Yes.
special happens to them, and what are the ramifications of that. And then we came up with a take, and we took it to Spyglass, and they love it, and now we're trying to get the movie happening. And
Johnny Five is alive again because of you
Yeah.
guys. So congrats.
His name is Juan Cinco now.
Juan Zico. I would say one of the only times I've cried in a movie. Well, not one, but like a few times. Like one of them was in Short Circuit 2 when Johnny Five gets a beat down from a bunch of these guys, and he's literally like, "I'm alive," and they're just hitting him with bats, and it was just the worst beating I've ever seen. Like a character that I really liked, that I loved, getting like violence towards him. So.
Aside from being one of
means
the
a lot
more
for me.
racist movies of the 80s,
All right,
the Short Circuit
that's
2 is really good. It's really emotional.
Yeah. If we forget that one, the main character in that movie
one
was
main
also in the first.
guy.
Yeah.
In
But,
that movie, he's the one beating people up. Like he dates Megan, the doll, and they're going around town.
Yes, that's another shared universe. Let's do it.
Beating the shit out of people. That's the take.
Jason Eduardo, like going back to Acapulco, right? It's won a bunch of awards already. I've seen it on a bunch of like best of the year lists. Can you just kind of break down how that started? And you guys deciding to do a show for Apple TV, how that all came about.
I like that you said that we decided to do the show. Like we're like, where should we go with this? Let's give these guys a chance. This guy with the funny apple logo. Well, it just the process was in that case, Eugenio Derbez and Ben Odell at Tripas, and we're talking to the intern with the Tenenbaums, who are like this legendary TV producers, and they wanted to find a way to pull out some TV story out of the movie How to Be a Latin Lover that wasn't exactly that story, because it wasn't so much about creating a show about Eugenio. It was just like figuring out if there was a spin-off in that world. And they approached us, and we discussed it, and we came up with this idea. Going back to your question of the things that made us feel like we clicked when we started writing together. Like we both love these type of stories, like Short Circuit, like A lot of the big 80s optimistic, upbeat comedies from film and TV at the time. Jason specifically is a big fan of Michael J. Fox and his characters, like in Family Ties, The Secret of My Success. Like these characters are like resourceful and trying to find an opportunity. The world of the 80s and the music of the 80s. So we just came back and tried to pitch this origin story, and it seems everybody liked it, and off we went.
All right.
Really lovely. I would love to quote something that Eduardo said. Shout out to Rosie Cordero over at Deadline. She stay looking out for us Latinos. It's like
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Anyway, you said here in this article, it is critically important to us to tell stories that subvert negative stereotypes and embrace cultural specificity in an authentic way. And we are grateful to Sony Pictures for their robust support in helping us to achieve that goal. Tell us more about why it is so important now in 2023 for us to be telling these stories of authenticity. Tell us a little bit more also about the landscape and Latino representation in Hollywood, because it sounds like you guys are on a mission to shift some signals, messages, and add some programming where we'll see ourselves.
Well, I can tell you that it doesn't seem like a long time, but like we said, we've been working together for about 9 years now. And 9 years ago, it was a different world than it is today. To be honest, all these conversations about inclusion and representation, even though there's been activism and a push for this for the longest time, the truth is that this appetite is kind of like a thing of the last 5-6 years, and a lot of it, unfortunately, propelled by a lot of the political environment that where the country started going. So this is all to say that when we started out and we would go around town and say, hey, we just, in my case, I just released this movie, and it's a bilingual movie, and there's a big audience that has this appetite to see Latino characters in this different context. Like, not, I think there's enough stories out there about the drug cartels or the trauma, like all that stuff. There's great examples, there's bad examples, but definitely those things have been explored to death. Can we try something new? And it wasn't the environment wasn't as receptive back then. There was a lot of trying to educate people about just the fact that Spanish language, for instance, if it's not a secret dialect, and it's like 40 million people in the US speak Spanish to one degree or another. So a lot of that has changed, and I think there's progress that's been made, but still, like, there's still a road that we have to walk in order to get to where we need to be. And a lot of it is just creating exciting. It sounds simple, but creating engaging, exciting stories. And I think that's where we always start. Like, we always trying to find something that's cool, exciting, moving, entertaining, thrilling, and then immediately make sure that we're using that opportunity to subvert all these negative stereotypes that still to this day, still this negative rhetoric around the Latino community in the US still exists. So I guess that's where that's the way I would summarize it.
Okay.
We got to wrap up here, but we like to ask this question here on LOL, especially with brilliant people like yourselves who are carving a really wonderful lane out for yourselves and representing for us while doing it. So this question is as follows. Our LOLeros are often inspired by the guests and their career paths. And we've heard this before where it's like, wow, we didn't know that you could do that with a degree in broadcast journalism. Or I didn't know that I could be a Latino, behind the camera. I didn't know we're out there. Like, what are some words of advice on navigating this career path? So in other words, what would you tell a younger Eduardo? And Jason, what would you tell a younger Jason about navigating, achieving these types of career goals, any advice you would drop, the podcast is your forum right now.
Well, I'll go first while Eduardo thinks. I'll tell you. First of all, thank you for when you were introducing me, saying a friend to the cause, because I really felt blessed and really fortunate to be a part of a show like Acapulco and put all my Jewish neuroses into these characters and comedy and have it sort of translate so well for the Latino audience. And for me, it's a real joy to write the episodes, to be with the actors who you all know. I just love them all so much. And it's made the world a smaller place for me. It's like I can write me and have it come out of Enrique and sound perfectly realistic. And it's been a wonderful ride. And I really appreciate you guys and your support of the show. I would tell a younger me two things, and I think this goes for male, female, any cultural background, is that you have to, first and foremost, if whatever you want to do, I think you have to go all in, like a poker game. I think you have to look at the hand you've been given, whatever that is. Some people are smarter than others. Some people work harder than others. Some people do both. Some people do neither. Who cares? Go all in and pursue your dream, and don't have a plan B, because if you have a plan B, you'll probably do your plan B. And with that, just ride the wave. I don't know anyone, including all my close friends that I went to school with and grew up with, who said, by 30 years old, this is exactly where I'm going to be. That's kind of a ridiculous notion. You should enter into the adult world and pursue your dream and just see what's going to happen and just go with the flow. Don't try to control everything. It might cause you not to enjoy the journey as much.
Wow.
Great words of advice. And I just want to tell you, from your Jewish sister, because I am half Jewish, I want to say mazel, and I want to say I love being a Jew. I love being Jew Latina, actually, because I'm like this smorgasbord of like matzah and mofongo. And I like to tell people, Jason, since you're an ally, you'll get this. Like, as a Jew, it's really fun because there's so many similarities with the two cultures. Both sides of my family like to comment on my weight. No matter how thin or chunky I am, I show up at the door and they're both like, you put on a few pounds. Oh, tu estás gorda. So I love being Jew Latina. It's fun. I get to dance the hora and dress like one too. You know what I'm saying? I get excited when I meet more like Jew brethren. So
Thank you.
yeah, thank you for being an ally. I will say that, and we welcome the allies.
I love it.
We welcome the allies. We need everything. We need to rally the fuck out of being Latino right now in this country. So allies, welcome.
I guess my advice would be twofold. Would be fight to make your voice heard, but also make sure you have something to say. Don't just speak up to hear the sound of your voice. Like, make sure that when you get a platform that you have something good to say. That'll be all.
Wow.
Great advice. Great advice. Thank you guys so much. Can you tell everybody where they can follow you? Because you must have some fun socials. Yes? No? Or maybe you don't want people following you. Maybe you're like, fuck them. No, don't. I don't want to talk to any of your fans. It's up to you. Do you want to drop your socials?
Oh, Jason has a crazy Instagram game. He's like, he just went to like the safari, was posting all this stories.
It's
Nice.
just my name, at Jason Shuman, JASON SHUMAN. That's it. Then you'll see my smiling face right there.
Nice.
Okay.
And you'll see a bunch of Eduardo in a lot of my posts too. But Eduardo has a good one as well. So you should
All right.
if you want.
Mine is just Incluso, INCLUSO. So it's at Incluso.
At Incluso.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
Jason Shuman, Eduardo Cisneros, thank you for all you do for the industry, for our people. Thank you so much. Keep on rocking in the free world.
Yeah.
I mean, keep on doing content. I don't know what else to tell you, but we're very appreciative for what you do. And thanks for coming on the show and inspiring us and the Elueleros at the same time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks to you.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Eduardo.
Thank you.
You all.
we are back. Oh my gosh, what a great interview,
Ooh,
right? Yeah.
jeez. Ooh,
Whew, intense.
punchole.
I love hearing secrets of like the process and how people do their jobs, especially in entertainment and a writing duo. Jamie, isn't that so nice? Like, how many of us now like are each other's soundboards, and it's nice to get creative with someone who you've been growing with, and in their case, my goodness, what they say, over 10 years.
I think
Wow.
8 to 10 years. Yeah, and they have a really cool working relationship. It looks like they that's why they're together, like they're a duo, because they just seem to just like they know their roles, and they work well together, and they have a lot of projects.
Wow.
Like you don't just get that, they're going to be busy for a while. So yeah, you don't get that level of kind of where they are to where they are if you're not good at what you do. So they're doing their thing.
Right. And shout out to Tripas and Eugenio Derbez and Mr. Odell and Jordan Rubio, everybody over at Tripas who's doing incredible things for the Latino community and producing stellar content. Yeah, I hope to have more guests like that. Yo, it's really nice when there's this continuity, right? We talk to the actors and the writer and the producer, and we get really entrenched in the project, and we love Acapulco here on
Yes.
LOL.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have a Que Lo Que, and we've got some important announcements in Que Lo Que, don't we?
Oh my
Right?
Lord.
Mr.
Ay,
Vince?
mamacita.
Woo!
I can't wait.
Let's go. Let's get into Que Lo Que.
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3, vamos a bailar otra vez. Que lo que, que lo que, que lo que, que lo que, que lo que. 1, 2, 3, menéate otra vez. Que lo que, que lo que, que lo que, que lo que, que lo que.
All right, you guys, it's Que Lo Que time. Who wants to go first? Anybody? Nobody? All right. End of episode. Goodbye.
No, there's only one. There's no Que Lo Ques today. This announcement. This is too big. This is just one broad announcement.
Good idea.
All
Frank.
Que Lo
Good idea.
Ques are off today, and we give the floor to Mr. Ferns.
LOLs, everybody who's listened to the show for all these years. Big announcement. Tonight is my last show on LOL, on Latinos Out Loud.
Wow.
I'm stepping away. Just stepping away. We've been doing this for a while, and as the great Sheryl Crow once sang, a change will do you good. I feel like I just need to change up my, do some different stuff. But I love LOL. I love the years that I spent here. It's really just more about my stamina as opposed to me not wanting to continue doing the show. I love the show.
6 years, bro. 6+ years have we gone through?
6.
Yeah, that's a
Wow.
That's a long time.
Straight, bro. Straight. No breaks, bro.
We through a lot, right? Through pandemic, through different locations. When we did it live, 3 or 4 different studios, all the way to Zoom, through so many seasons. It's been a wild ride. A lot of different people that I've met throughout the whole thing, but the core and the constant was you two, Rachel and Frank, and our chemistry. They say chemistry can be a fickle mistress.
Ooh.
Ooh. So you can't just you can't force it. You only have it with a certain amount. A small group of people. And I think we have established a sort of unique chemistry that takes years to really to polish, right? And so I'll never I'll always have that with me. I always have the experiences of doing the show. I always cherish the time that I've spent on the show. All the guests that we've talked to,
wow.
all the laughs that we've had.
Oh my Lord.
So yeah, I mean, to me, anytime anytime it was like if I was gonna leave the show, it'd be more of like a celebration of my time on the show and not like a sad thing.
Yeah.
Because I always expect to be a friend of the show. Like if y'all need an emergency,
Once a LOL,
guest
always
host, yeah. If y'all
always
need
a LOL.
if y'all need a last minute guest host or something like that, or you need me to like help you on a LOL related project, or so I'm always gonna be the friend of the show. I'm not disappearing like yo, what happened to Jamie all those years ago? No,
They need you, bro. They need you. LOL hive, bro.
If there's always anything fun we can do as just like a funny, just funny mini projects for the show, and if I can be involved in stuff like that, I'll always want to have like my ear to the show. I always want to be just like kind of like Pee-wee's Playhouse, right? I want to be the Cowboy Bill who just sometimes pops in and shit.
Yeah.
And hey guys, what's up? I just have to be in the neighborhood.
I happen to
so
pass by.
So, but look, I'm always gonna be a fan and listen and support and just always looking forward to the next phase and chapter of the show, because the show's always evolving and the best shows evolve and keep I mean, I think the core of the show again is the unique is what the uniqueness of what we do, right? There's not a lot of shows like Latinos Out Loud, right? There's not a lot of shows bluntly that have Latinos who are out loud with everything. And so that was the whole kind of the goal of the show starting, right? And I think that's always gonna be a part of the show. I think this show, can be the Simpsons of podcasts and just keep going and going. So yeah, again, I've loved doing it, and I love you guys. I love the listeners, our producers that we've had here, at Sonoros. They've been great. Never had issues with them. I feel like they've always helped us kind of put out the vision of what we set out to do every week, right? And again, I'm not like I'm not becoming a hermit and going into a cabin in the woods, right? And so I'm still gonna be out there doing things and stuff like that. But again, I always know where you come from, and I know that Latinos Out Loud is where I really kind of earned my like I definitely earned my podcast stripes on Latinos Out Loud. And so and it's a great experience that I'm always gonna have with me. Like I'm so glad that I was able to be a part of this this show. So love you guys, and I'll always support the show, and I know it's going to continue to be a must listen always. So thanks for the experience. I'm not gonna get all emotional. But it is kind of like it's weird. Like you're normal, and then when you have to kind of talk about something like this, your heart starts beating, and you get a little like your hands get clammy and like fidgety, and I don't know. It feels like it is like a big deal for me because it's a life. It's a part of my life that's like that is closing for now. So but yeah, LOLs for life, let's go.
Don't make me cry, Jay. Jesus Christ, bro. This is killing me, man. Yo, brother, I love you.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna go on my spiel. I mean, 6 years, bro, like a long time. And sometimes the people in the back don't understand what we really the battles that we have to fight, to keep the show alive, man. And you were there, bro, like tooth and nail, man. So there's a lot of wars that are fought behind the scenes, and you're a huge part of it. Not only the show, but for me personally, you showed me a lot. You've been like a big brother to me, even though I'm older than you. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's people don't understand. Like, this is a process. This is something you have to learn. And you, Rachel, and Mike always been in front of me and been teaching me and been guiding me. You've been my guide. So you leaving me is like, you know, my right hand man is gone, bro. So I'm going to continue, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to continue the big fight. I wish you well. You know, I always tell you, man, you're one of the most talented dudes I've ever come across. So don't ever forget that, bro. And me and Rachel spoke about something, our favorite moment with you ever.
Oh,
yes. So I'm going to say my favorite moment.
only one?
Listen to me. In 6 years,
in 6 years, my one moment. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think.
I'm gonna tell you. There's so many, dude. There's so many. You know, if the LOLs don't know Jamie is one of a kind. If you ever meet him, like Jamie has his ways, and like nobody. And you have to understand him. If you don't understand him, you might, it's not gonna work out. You got to understand Jamie. Jamie, if you know Jamie, right?
Wow.
But I'm going to tell you my moment that I really saw who Jamie is, okay? This is my moment. My moment was in the 100th episode, okay? 5 minutes before us going on the stage. Natalia comes and says, guys, 5 minutes to showtime. And Frank Spiracy is like sweating beads of sweat. Lin-Manuel, my first big show. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, let me go to the bathroom and drink a little water. And I go to the bathroom and I open the door slowly. And as I open the door slowly, Jay Ferns is by the mirror, putting gel in his hair.
Oh, here we go.
Calmly and like so calm. And he doesn't even look in the mirror to see who's coming in. And I'm coming in and I'm drinking water and he's still playing with his hair, with the gel. And he looks like the Fonz from Happy Days.
Oh,
and I'm like, yo, this motherfucker is so fucking calm. And I'm so nervous. What the fuck? And I'm just like, wow. And in that moment, man, 5 minutes left, you gave me so much confidence, bro. You didn't even know it.
Wow. Well, people are going to just think I'm vain. I'm vain
no,
now.
Man. No. That's who you are, bro. And not in a vain way. You're a very humble man. You're a very humble individual.
No, thank you, dude. Thank you.
And you just, in this industry, you need that. You know what I mean? And you showed me that. Being my big brother, I needed that at that moment. And I saw that in you. And I was like, wow. So I just want to let you know in that moment, you in the industry, you showed me, man, that, yo, you got to be calm. You got to be relaxed, even in the big moment. So I came out there and I came out with confidence. You know what I'm saying?
You did. And you had a great show. Everybody in that 100 were at the top of the game, And
I always told you guys, if it wasn't for you guys, I don't think I would have done that. You guys molded me and you guys it's almost like you put me up there. You know what I mean? And you guys are a big part of that. So in that moment, Rachel made me laugh right before I went on. Like, that showed me, man. So it was a big moment, and I always thank you for that. And I always put it part of your character and who you are as an individual. And don't ever forget that, man. You have that calmness, and you have that coolness, and you have your wittiness. And there's only one Jay Ferns, brother.
Wow, dude. Thank you. Wow.
That's only.
Really sweet.
Rachel La Loca.
Cool.
Cheers to that. There is only one Jay Ferns. I have so many. We were going back and forth on what to do for this, right?
Yeah.
Like, we could have invited everybody and did a big, rigmarole and have everybody do some nice words for you, but
that would just embarrass me.
That's right. That's like,
yeah.
I feel like this celebration right now with the three of us, the L, the O, the L, the Three Musketeers, this is where it's been for the last 6 years, and I feel like this is where it should be at right now. And then Frank's idea was to talk about our favorite memories with you. I have so many that we'd be here for a really long time. So I think I can encapsulate it best by saying that our banter, I always found a unique connection. Whenever we go on a ride, we go on a fucking banter ride
right.
of back and forth. It's this like friendly competition of jokes. And I always lose. You always come out on top, and I respect that so much, but that's because your wit is unparalleled.
Hmm.
Like your sense of humor, your jokes, the spectrum of where your jokes even come from and go to. Like they're just that you are so like you can make a funny about anything,
Hmm.
and you're a wordsmith. And then the
A
other thing I want to
wordsmith. I
say,
never heard that. Wow.
A wordsmith. I
he's a
like that.
wordsmith. I mean, that, what that is defined as. Like, Jamie is so good with words, putting them together, using them in the right situations, making them rhyme, using alliteration, all these phonetic techniques to be funny. That is
Yes.
such skill. That's like, what I'm saying? That's like combining grammar usage, letters, again, phonics for comedy.
Hooked
I
on
don't
Mm.
phonics work for me.
Yo, but you've been hooking this podcast up for 6 years. I'm so thankful to everything that you bring. And the other part of it that I'll say is after working with you on Room 28, and sometimes we do these side gigs of copywriting and the branded stuff, and working with you on Latinos Out Loud, I think the one thing that I love so much, that common denominator across all those different situations that I just mentioned, was that at the end of the day, like, you bring friendship to the table too, so strong. Like,
Yeah.
you could call somebody a friend, but that doesn't necessarily that they mean that they bring friendship all the time. Like,
Mm.
you bring the friendship, you bring the funny, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
Um,
Call back. Yeah.
you know, but it's really nice to have worked in these capacities with you and to continue to, even though we won't be doing it as much on the podcast. I just love how, like, when the friendship plays in, we're at each other, we're there for each other,
Oh yeah, definitely.
whether it's
Definitely.
to like finish a joke or level up a joke, or just as each other's friends, like for
Hmm.
support. I love you, Jamie. I love you
I
so
love you
much.
guys.
My brother.
Real quick, for to specifically talk about Frank, you got in like you're like you you went from in the beginning of the when we did the podcast, you didn't have a lot of experience, but now you're like a pro now. Like your Frankspiracy blew up, and you just like you have like grown with the show, and now you're like a powerhouse. Like you could do this podcast, you could do your own podcast, you know what I mean? Like your voice really had took shape. So it was really great watching that happen as
Mhm.
through these years, right?
Yeah.
And Rachel, like if I didn't know you, Rachel, I'd be intimidated to do this show with you because you're like you're like the light switch of the show. You know what I'm saying? Like the show runs on Rachel, right?
Candela.
So it's like I feel like I've known you, so it's Rachel, and so I get in there with you, and like, but I feel like even when guests kind of like talk to you, they're like, "Wow, Rachel is Rachel like is so talented, but like it's also like a ball of energy that it's
Electricidad.
yeah,
Electricidad.
like it's like the sun. You don't want to go too much of the sun, you'll get burned, right? So you
Too
have
much
to
of
know
Rachel,
how.
you'll get
Yeah.
burned.
So you have to know how to like not everybody can like work with Rachel. So I feel honored that and not in a bad way, in a way where it's like she can eat you up, right? If you're not bringing it, right?
Oh my
So
gosh.
that's what so I'm glad. I feel honored that I've been that you're my friend, and I've done with I've done and will continue to do other stuff with you in the future. But like as far as the podcast and just keeping up with you, I feel good about myself that I can do that. That helps me go out into any other project and feel good that I can keep up with the La Loca. And so that was for both of you. That is
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Jamie.
that's why I know the show is only going to continue to get bigger and better, and and all that good stuff. So thank you, love y'all,
Appreciate
and
you, brother.
until next time, until we speak again.
Word.
All right.
Thank you for all your contributions. LOL is what it is today because of you as well. You know what I'm saying? you've added to this fabric of what LOL is and what we blanket the market with every week. So thank you. And I know the LOLeros, if I could speak on their behalf, the jokes, the laughter, the entertainment that you bring is truly one of a kind. And it'll make somebody's day. It'll make somebody's week. It'll make somebody's month. You're amazing.
Love y'all. Good night. You're really making me cry.
Well, LOLeros, shout out to Jamie. Hit him up, Jay Ferns on the socials. Let him know how you feel. Tell him
Yeah.
your favorite memories.
Send
You
pics. You know, it's
You
cool.
gonna get mad DMs, man. You gonna get mad DMs. Oh man, good luck to you, bro. You're gonna need like an assistant to go through your shit.
Well, it's so beautiful. It's hard to say goodbye, but we'll just say see you later.
Yeah. See you later, y'all.
Okay.
Jay, I love you, brother.
Can I do the final two words that you always do just for the last?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It would be an
Okay.
honor and privilege to hear you do this. This is like, the ringing of the stock market bell. over
Exactly,
here.
right. Okay, so to end this episode of Latinos Out Loud, I only got two words for y'all. We out!